it has a lot to do with this boat that you see behind me way back there. That's a dredging ship.
Nice and steady, there you go.
So here you go. There's a live stream from Facebook Live, as you can see right there on your screen. A great way to see these Mardi Gras parades, but it's been a very good.
We're so far away from the street that how could something like this happen?
And now we're going to go ahead and take a look. My photographer Clinton's going to shoot overboard here to kind of give you a look at what's going on right now. From beginning to end, it's hard to find logic in what happened. All starting with what should have been a traffic stop.
A male subject in the vehicle jumped out while I was rolling and ran into the woods carrying a duffel bag.
That led to an hours-long manhunt. Marshals and deputies trying to track him down, although at one point he showed himself actually sprinting across the interstate into the woods. They brought out the dogs, and neighbors watching as officers widen their search.
Yeah, my wife come running back there. Said, Floyd, there's something going on out here. You better come see what it is. And they had the canine dogs in the backyard trying to pick up a scent.
But once the helicopter came, it wasn't much longer before they had their suspect, who came out with a few bite marks.
Damn dog bit the hell out of me.
Why'd you run?
That's some marijuana in my pocket.
Not only did they confiscate pot off of Jesse Laird, but also a lot of cash.
$6,031.
Investigators believe he was headed to Daphne for a drug deal. After being treated for bites to his arm, Laird had more to say. Why is it worth running over marijuana? I don't understand that.
Because the cops is killing people for a little bit of marijuana, and people's going to prison for a little bit of marijuana. I do not want to be killed, and I do not want to sit in prison for marijuana.
But
I am not an animal. I am a productive citizen of this country, and I do not think I should be sitting in jail.
Well, were you going to Daphne for a drug deal?
No, I was going to do a roof repair.
Really? But you had a lot of drugs on you, though. I mean,
Not a lot of drugs, marijuana.
And money.
That's because I'm a roofer. I make plenty cash.
His girlfriend, Nicole Flugum, who was driving the car, was also charged, but was not as talkative.
Really?
Well, what happened?
Can you get out my face?
Anything you want to say about this?
Get out my face. Please, I don't want this on the news. Thanks.
Deputies say less than a month ago, Flugum and Laird were arrested in Texas for the exact same offenses. In Theodore, Alan Carter, News 5.
We had over 600 so far.
Afternoon, how's it going?
That people could come out and bring us their junk,
You got a mixed bag there.
rubbish, or what people say their stuff,
Right up in here beside this silver truck, back in right there.
and they are still coming in.
Back again? Back again. All right.
But we welcome it.
There's all kinds of open space in there.
It's a huge trash pile. It's more than what we've had before in the past.
Well, this is my second time. Thank goodness I don't have a third.
All right, straighten up.
This is what I got, and that'll be enough.
Come on back.
I clear out houses sometimes that people have moved out, and so I just backlog this stuff. But I've got a free dump besides.
I've been trying to figure out what to do with all of this mess. Some of this stuff I've had for 15 years. You know, you pile it back and you pile it back. Well, I'll get to it, and I'll get to it, and I'll get to it. Well, the time to get to it had to come to an end. It was get it done.
All this garbage that you see is garbage that's not on the right-of-ways, the highways, and the creeks. It's not in your neighbor's backyard, and it's going to be disposed of properly. A little more than what we expected. Successful day.
Daryl Roberts plays the piano.
No, it sounds funny, but I just can't stand it.
Sings a song and works through his grief.
Good, I'm leaving you tomorrow.
In the same Mobile recording studio where his brother Matt did his final musical work. Matt had mostly given up performing several years ago, but he was back in the studio at Dauphin Street Sound this summer, producing a compilation of local artists on his Origin record label.
And then when we got into the studio, he really put on the producer's cap and took over that role.
Keelan Laxton was the engineer on the project, Matt's right-hand man, and recording had just concluded 10 days before Matt's death.
I think Matt was very passionate about local musicians and trying to make sure that we could create stuff here in the Gulf Coast that could really make a big impact. And magic just tended to happen whenever he was involved.
But he told me, he said, you know, Dad, he said, I think producing is that's what I'm going to do.
Matt's dad says his son had a bright future ahead as a producer. He says his parental instinct told him that more than 15 years ago when he saw how his son worked with producers on the very first Three Doors Down album.
I saw the way he interacted with them, and he worked with them and changing and doing this and doing that. And I told him then, I said, oh, that's your talent, because, see, Matt really, really struggled in any kind of public forum all his life. And to go on stage, he was absolutely terrified.
As hard as it might be to imagine, Matt, the international rock star, suffered from severe anxiety. It was a problem that did not go away as he and his bandmates won dozens of the industry's top awards and sold more than 20 million albums. That's why his family and friends were so excited about his new producer project and why they now look forward to that work of his being released.
I think when people hear the music, they'll understand the depth of his talent. It's, it'd be his final legacy, and so I would love nothing better to see that.
Peter Albrecht, News 5.
It's a very, very obviously large system that we have here.
It can haul up to 16.5 tons by itself. It's powered by a 500 horsepower Detroit diesel. It's a 10-wheel drive truck. Usually I'm either the driver of the truck or the truck commander, but it's a lot different being outside actually pulling it with straps and 11 other soldiers.
You ready just in case? Go! Each one of them is going to be bearing, I think, at least 5,000 pounds. Nice and steady, there you go. Instead of personnel carry. Good job, team, let's go. We did a POS carry. Y'all can do it. It's going to be a difficult task, but as a team, you're going to see them achieve this together. Come on, lean in, lean in. Don't try this at home.
Eye protection and gloves at all times.
This is for soldiers and soldiers only.
Soldier getting run over by the vehicle.
This is a physically hard challenge to do.
Anyone falls or trips.
Dig down.
Vehicle, we're coming to a stop.
Remember to breathe. There's effective communication techniques.
Momentum, get some momentum in that dip.
I hear the guys around me grunting and keep moving. Let's go. So I just kept my head down and kept going. Almost there.
Let's go, let's go.
Last bit. I knew the capability of my soldiers. I had a lot of faith in them.
Good job, guys, good job.
Amazing. It was definitely a team building experience.
Dab it up, dab it up. We moved a 54,000 pound beast. Go strong, 498.
Great job. You can say Ernest Andrus is well traveled.
Okay, we're on our way.
What started in San Diego has made its way to South Alabama.
Now entering Grand Bay.
The 92-year-old World War II Navy veteran has spent the last 3 years walking across the country.
Mainly for the fun of it, for the adventure of it.
But his purpose is all business.
We try to raise some money for a World War II ship that we have.
That ship is the LST-325, a World War II era naval landing ship.
We found it on the Isle of Crete in the Greek islands.
The last of its kind and identical to the LST-124 Andrus served on.
Brought it back on its own power. Average age of our crew was 72.
Now he is hoping to get that ship back to Normandy for D-Day plus 75, and that's when his journey began.
I've just met a lot of great people.
Sometimes he runs alone.
Sorry, I heard you had a pretty good turnout.
But usually not. This couple flew in from Virginia.
It's just been a blessing to be able to participate for a short while and be able to talk to him and hear all about his life.
God bless you, Ernie.
And always has a cheering section.
He's just the epitome of if you want to do it, you can do it.
He's not likely to raise the funds in time, But through good times,
Just a lot of fun.
and bad,
3 weeks off when my wife passed away.
rain and shine,
Sun feels good.
8 miles per day,
Another one down.
3 days a week,
A few more to go.
the finish line is in sight.
I'm having so much fun. I hate to see it end, but I'm still looking forward to it.
Clinton Bourgeois, News 5.
Here we go. Here's the thing about being in a car with Mel Showers.
Times have changed.
It's like riding around with a living atlas.
This was the western boundary of the city, right here.
And a Mobile history book.
All of this used to be thriving. This is where all the car dealerships were located, on this street.
Every turn.
Am I turning here? No, you can go down one more street.
And every corner.
And the loop, it's called that because that's where the streetcars used to make their loop back into downtown Mobile.
Has a story.
Even these trees, as old as they look, are relatively new because Hurricane Frederick in 1979 came and blew every one of these trees down.
As we make our way downtown to one corner in particular.
The original street of WKRG.
Mel Showers got his start in broadcasting at St. Louis and St. Joseph.
The WKRG hired me part-time first, and then after being on the job for a short while, they said, we're offering you a full-time job.
Mobile County grand jury remained busy all day.
Although it's a term he'll never use to describe himself, a pioneer, being one of the first black faces on TV in this market.
They were making sure that they selected a person who had a kind of a thick skin, who wasn't a radical activist, that was me, and could sit there and take it. That was me.
Times certainly were not easy back then. Mel remembers growing up in a place that feels very different from today.
That was our entrance. This was the colored entrance, and everybody else was around to the front, which you've already seen, the front entrance. Well, thank God I can go through the front now.
So when he looks around about what Mobile has become and is becoming, it's a real hometown pride.
Oh, now I see. Okay.
Next, he led me out to Brookley Field, another place of special significance.
My daddy used to work down here.
And another place that is now booming.
Things have changed since I was here. That's all I ever knew growing up was my father working on Brookley. So this is Brookley Field, and I have a long history with Brookley Field, and I was so just elated to find out that we were going to be putting together aircraft here on Brookley Field. So it brings a smile to my face, and if my father was still alive, he would be smiling too.
Mel says there's a lot here to smile about, as some things have changed.
This is the old Davis Avenue. This is it. There used to be a business on every 30 feet there was a building with a business in it.
And some haven't.
That's where I get my hair cut to this day, right there.
Really?
On that corner.
But he'll always see Mobile as home.
I want to thank you again. I appreciate it.
All right.
I know you don't like talking about yourself too often, but this is a good time for me. We're going to end it off here at the new WKRG building,
yes,
huh?
Yes.
While they didn't get the worst, the folks on Lansing Drive probably saw it first.
Like, it all happened just bam, 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 and I heard all this wind just rushing everywhere.
You can put it in the junk pile.
Cleanup won't be easy.
At least we almost got this pile done.
They've been working at it all day.
We're finding things from down the road that belong to these people, and then we're finding things here that belong to people down the road.
Things that are supposed to be inside,
I've been finding pictures too.
now outside.
She'll be happy to see it.
Things once standing,
I'm sure that goes to a window somewhere.
now not that way anymore.
It's unbelievable.
Only a few houses were actually hit, but every capable hand helping out.
Good job. There's this guilt feeling, you know. It's like, why them and not us? So you want to come out and help.
It'll take days and even weeks to get back to normal here. But for others in Pensacola, the idea of normalcy is hard to fathom right now.
Reality, I don't think has really hit me yet. Just trying to make it day by day, but it was quite a shock.
All Pamela Hayes has are the clothes on her back and a trash bag of donated items. Everything else stuck in the rubble of the Moorings apartments.
When I looked out my front door and seen all the debris and people screaming and hollering, saying, help me, everything was just gone. And I've seen, it was horrifying.
She's one of about 30 people staying at this Red Cross shelter, folks trying to figure out what's next. But these disasters have a tendency to highlight what's important.
It sort of puts the trivial things that you're concerned about in life on the back burner for sure.
I don't even know how to explain it, but you know, above all, you know, I just thank God I'm blessed, you know, I'm still here.
It's not unusual to see horses down a country road in Mobile County. But these horses haven't always had such a carefree life.
These were malnourished, walking skeletons.
Ariana Morgan started Dream Acres Equine Sanctuary 3 years ago. She rescues abused horses and horses that end up on kill lots.
Well, I call it a horseschwitz.
Kill lots are the last stop on the way to be slaughtered in Mexico.
Their mental condition's just as awful. They're just absolutely terrified. It probably feels so good getting brushed.
She relies on volunteers like Susan Wood.
We have 28 here that we care for, I care for on a daily basis.
Wood helps rehabilitate horses at her farm on March Road.
Some of the equines that come in, they're hundreds of pounds underweight. It is absolutely scary and heartbreaking to see them.
Some of the horses come in so malnourished that it's a victory just to get them plump again. But this horse, this is Cammie, and she's been trained so well that she can actually be ridden. Susan's daughter Victoria is one of the trainers who believes these horses deserve to be saved.
He was on a kill lot. He was, if we did not buy him or someone else, he would be shipped to Mexico.
Dan, good boy.
These volunteers are literally bringing mistreated horses back to life.
It's a wonderful experience for me to heal them and work with them. That's the biggest reward. We are a nonprofit, so our reward is seeing these animals get good homes and thrive.
Dream Acres volunteers have already saved 60 horses this year. For What's Working, I'm Devin Walsh.
The holiday for Robert E. Lee has, by the Alabama legislature, been a state holiday since 1904. And we conduct an annual salute in honor of Lee and Jackson as military and social leaders.
Pride in our Confederate ancestors and preserving the honor of our Confederate veterans.
For 2 parts of the ceremony, there will be weapons firing. God Save the South, which was the Confederate anthem. And the other will be what we call the Triple Volley Salute, which is for all the veterans of the Confederacy and the war between the states. The Confederate Rest contains the graves of 1,100 war casualties. All the men buried out here were actually killed during or as a result of the war.
They were good men, they were good at their jobs. Even if you don't agree with this, as I'm sure many people do, I mean, I personally do, but it's important to respect them and respect our ancestors and family. I mean, that's just what it's all about.
Their valor and courage transcends any particular perspective that someone may feel. I don't think anyone can change the feelings of someone else. We can only share our knowledge, and we hope through educating people that they come to understand why we honor these excellent gentlemen.
For me, to honor my ancestors who fought for a constitutional reason is the most important thing.
Do something big. Do something different. Fathers learned that playing with your sons is important.
Father-son duo from the Mobile Police Department.
If it starts at home, it's a good relationship at home. It'll be a good relationship on the streets when we make contact with everybody.
Versus the father and son duo from Ice Home Mercy.
Sit and watch a lot of basketball together, and also he played basketball.
Because it's better to play around people than just one-on-one. Do the picks and pass it and all that stuff. I'll do 1,000 push-ups if they win.
Ready to get out there and see what I can do. See if I still have something in the tank.
Seeing those guys getting points.
Don't shoot it. Don't shoot it. No. You gonna airball it. Well, just missing like missing a lot of layups.
Sometimes they miss a shot and it's funny.
That score doesn't matter. They can turn the clock off right now and it wouldn't matter, just us having fun with our kids.
3, 2, 1. Your final score, the Mobile Police Department 50, Ice Home Mercy 50.